Hello. Apologies, you startled me. I'm not used to seeing anyone way out here. Are you lost, perhaps? You're welcome to sit a moment. Warm yourself by the fire. You look like you could use a bit of rest. And to be honest, I could use the company. And if you don't sit, I'm going to start getting nervous. Most folks around here ain't too friendly, and I'm banking on the fact that since you approached me calmly, that means you have no ill intentions. But if you don't take your hand off your hilt and sit down, I'm going to get anxious. There we go. Much better. Thank you. You're tarnished, aren't you? I guess that explains why you would be so hesitant of me. I'm sure you don't encounter too many friendly faces either. But don't let it worry you. I have nothing against the tarnished. It matters not to me. I'm more focused on getting by day to day. Anyone decent enough to me, I'll be decent enough to them. Maybe you can tell, but I'm not a warrior or a soldier. In fact, I try to stay away from the sort. I may not be tarnished, but that alone isn't excuse enough for them to be civil towards me, it would seem. Not that they shouldn't be civil towards your lot. Like I said, I don't have any issues with you. It wasn't a tarnished who robbed me. Yeah, it's alright, I guess. No helping it now. It was Godric's men, so if anything, I got off pretty easy. Vile lot they are. I was on the road when they stopped me. Limgrave had been pretty quiet for a while, and I'd been hunkered down in Mistwood for the past few moons. I trade mostly dried meats and fur, so I didn't realize things had become, well, worse than they already are. It's been getting pretty bad, but I suppose that while I was gone, things just snapped. Another merchant on the road told me to steer clear of Stormvale. But they're the only ones who ever bought my stock, and I needed the runes. He said the road had gotten dangerous, but I thought he just meant the beasts and the demi-humans, who I figured I could avoid. And I have bills of sale from the castle, so I figured if any of the soldiers stopped me, they would let me pass, since I had some proof of reputation. But that was wishful thinking. They pulled me off my horse and threw me to the ground. Took everything I had. Bastards even took my horse. Poor Gus. Hope they at least treat him kindly since he can be useful. Battered me up pretty good, tossed me over the bank. Not sure if they thought I was dead or if they just didn't care. Either way, I'm pretty lucky. My friend Kale found me, helped me out. He's a good sort. If you meet him, you can trust him. He's friends with all kinds. Even a half-wolf came by his camp a few times. So I'm sure he has no issues befriending Tarnished. I'm sure you could use all the friends you could get. Especially with Godric finally going off his rocker. I appreciate that you would feel angered on my behalf. But, as I said, I was pretty lucky. I got off easy. They could have done much worse to me than they did. I don't know if you're familiar with the grafting, but there are fates far worse than mine. The only thing I could think of during all of it was that I'd rather they just kill me than drag me back to that castle. Perhaps I said so out loud. Hard to say. My head was dazed. Maybe I begged them enough they showed me some mercy in tossing me over the bank. I vaguely remember them saying to throw me on the wagon before the man who kicked me over the hill laughed and said I wasn't worthy of it. Maybe he was granting my wish. Or maybe he truly thought that. I don't know. Either way, things turned out all right. But I do miss Gus. He was a gentle beast. I hope they treat him well enough. Poor thing. Oh, you don't know of the grafting. Well, I envy you. It's a wicked thing I wish I never had to imagine. Well, it started with the Tarnished. Godric would take them and he'd cut them up and stitch them together into some new abomination. Some sort of marriage between a demented science and magic. They say he cuts their limbs off and stitches them together on a host body. But he adds so many parts that they just become large, spider-like creatures skittering along the floors. Some say it isn't just arms and legs, but eyes and mouths. All the different bodies. So bound together, each of them retaining a piece of their consciousness, so you're trapped inside the body of this grafted beast, forced to watch a part of your own body partake in hellish communion. But who is to say if that's true or not? The idea alone is enough for me to rather die than become part of that. Those who are grafted can't pass on. You're just trapped in this monstrous limbo forever. Anyway, he started with the Tarnished, but I suppose he ran out. He's trying to become stronger. He's grafted the strongest of his monsters onto his own body. Apparently that isn't enough for him anymore, and he's been having his soldiers round people up and drag them back for his crafting. They say the castle is mostly empty now. Only his soldiers left. But he started to take some of them too. I never found Stormvale particularly pleasant. but it was lively. Ever since Limgrave has become flooded with beasts, most people have fled to the castle for refuge. Can't imagine how terrifying that must be. To go somewhere, take your family somewhere you're supposed to be safe. The home of the Lord who's supposed to protect you, only to be butchered and defiled into a perverse grasp at power. I've heard there was a time when Godric was good, and Limgrave was a pretty decent place to be. But after the shattering, I suppose, that all began to change, and he's been falling from grace ever since. I'm foreign to these lands. My people were nomads, so I was never truly embraced here. But I wasn't treated as cruelly as I have come to be these past years. For a while I was relatively happy here, even had a good thing going. Perhaps I should just return to my roots and keep moving, but honestly, I don't think anywhere else is faring much better. So, for now, my plan is to return to Mistwood. I know those woods pretty well. I have a small shack where I stay in when I hunt. I'm not sure if it's the best plan, but it's the only one I have right now. I don't really know where else to go. You're welcome to come with me if you'd like. If you find yourself longing for a traveling companion, I could teach you what I know of the woods. No one will come looking for you there. It may be a tight fit in the shack, but I'm sure we could make it work. Well, I just thought I'd offer. It was a bit of a selfish one, I'll admit. It gets a bit lonely out here, and it would be nice to have someone watching my back so I could actually sleep through the night for once. And you seem capable and nice. I'm not strong, and I'm not a fighter, but I know how to live off the land, and I'd be willing to trade your protection for my know-how. It's the only thing I even could trade at this point. Well, I appreciate you saying you'd consider it, but don't get my hopes up if you're just trying to be polite. Wait, you're not really going to try to become Elden Lord, are you? Not that I would have a problem with the Tarnished becoming Elden Lord. In fact, things would probably be a lot better if they did. I mean, couldn't possibly get much worse, could it? I mean, you're clearly capable, but are you capable enough to kill lords? I know it's prophecy and all, but that doesn't mean you're bound to it. You're still your own person, and you do get some bit of agency in this world. I don't think it would be an unworthy endeavor, but if you do it because you want to. Don't do it because you think you're supposed to. Contrary to what some people may tell you, your life has meaning. It isn't something to just be thrown away on something you're unsure about. And I don't say this because I want to make your mind up for you one way or the other. Or because I hope you'll give up on the idea and travel with me. Only you can decide what you need to do. I just don't want to see anyone thinking they aren't worthy of a choice. No one gets to decide your fate but you. As far as I'm concerned, prophecy and predetermined destinies can bug off. Only people who ever preach that sort of thing are those who are trying to force someone else to do something. Sorry. I don't mean to be so harsh. I'm sure you've thought it over well enough already. It's not my place to comment on it. It's been a while since I've had company, so I've let my manners slip. I apologize. Do you have a map? Let me see it. I'll mark some of the places I've heard about that may be of interest to a tarnished trying to become Elden Lord. I'll preface this by saying I haven't been to all of these places myself, so I can't verify them. But I've heard rumors from other travelers, and it's the only thing I can offer you. Also, there is a path here that will take you up to Stormvale that may avoid most of the caravans. I did travel that way a few times when I traveled to and from the castle. I can't say that you won't meet any soldiers or other things there, but it's a small road, so a large caravan wouldn't be quite so feasible to navigate. Also, here, if you change your mind and you want to come find me, if you travel to this spot and then head east half a day, you'll come to a small waterfall. There is no trail marking, so pay attention to the position of your shadow. From there, if you travel south for a day, granted you've gone in a straight line, you'll start seeing yellow flowers. Those are my trail markers. Follow them and you'll find my shack. There will be other flowers, but only the yellow ones will lead you to me. I know it's not exactly easy to get to, but that just means it's safer. Just, in case you decide to hold off on becoming Elden Lord. Or if you just need somewhere to go for a while. Don't mark it. If something happens to you, I don't want anyone getting their hands on your map and getting curious. You understand? Good. Don't tell anyone else, yeah? I'm trusting you with this information, so don't make me regret it. I'm going to try and get some sleep. I'll be moving on tomorrow, so I want to get as much rest as I can. Maybe as repayment for all the handy information, you could keep watch for a bit. I won't ask you to stay all night, but I've had trouble feeling safe enough to sleep deeply. If you could maybe give me just a few hours, I would be grateful. Well, yes, I do feel safer with you here. I know we don't know each other well, but I trust you. I wouldn't have given you directions to my home if I didn't. I doubt you're waiting for me to fall asleep so you can make off like a thief in the night. Because, well, I clearly don't have anything of value. And if you just wanted to hurt me, you would have done it already. So, please, Tarnished, give me just a few hours of your time. I would be very thankful. I'm sure it won't take long for me to fall asleep with you here to protect me. So if you leave as soon as I doze off, I'll never even know. It just feels good to feel some bit of peace for a moment. And for some reason I feel that peace now, and I don't want to let it go just yet. Thank you. When I open my eyes, I won't expect to see you. But I do hope that one day I'll see you again. Good night, Tarnished.